1. Live, RFK Jr. to make major announcement, breaking news live. 2. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. advocates for increased dairy consumption, what you need to know. 3. RFK Jr. proposes expanding dairy in dietary guidelines, what science says. 1. Live, RFK Jr. to make major announcement, breaking news live. Breaking news, RFK Jr. set to make groundbreaking announcement. By 13 News Team. July 14, 2025 at 11:14 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tucson, Arizona, in a highly anticipated event, U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is poised to deliver a significant announcement that could reshape the nation's health landscape. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. He will be flanked by the Secretary of Agriculture and the U.S. Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration. This powerful trio is expected to unveil a game-changing initiative. To ensure you don't miss a moment of this pivotal announcement, tune into the live event via the video player. For an uninterrupted stream of Tucson Now, visit Tucson Now Live, https://tucsonnow.live. But here's the part most people miss: you can actively participate in shaping the news narrative. Submit your breaking news or weather images here, https://ugc.zm.com/app/gallery !album ID =4152 &theme =default, and contribute to the story. Will this announcement be a watershed moment or a source of contention? Voice your thoughts and join the discussion in the comments below. Copyright 2025 13 News. All rights reserved. 2. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. advocates for increased dairy consumption, what you need to know. Dairy debate ignites passion. In a controversial move shaking up nutritional norms, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has thrown his support behind broadening the role dairy products play in our everyday diet. This bold statement not only challenges conventional wisdom but also invites us to re-examine long-held beliefs about what is truly healthy. During a press conference on Monday, Kennedy passionately declared that dairy should occupy a more prominent position in the American diet. Reflecting on his own upbringing, when milk was celebrated as the epitome of health, he now cites emerging scientific findings that highlight the importance of protein and healthy fats. "I grew up in a world where milk was the healthiest thing that you could eat," he observed, adding that recent studies emphasize the need for more protein and fats in our meals. There's a tremendous amount of emerging science that talks about the need for more protein in our diet and more fats in our diet. And there's no industry that does that better than this industry, Kennedy stated, clearly positioning dairy as a key contributor to nutritional wellness. But here's where it gets controversial. These remarks directly conflict with long-standing advice from major public health establishments. For instance, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, continues to advise that adults should limit their intake of saturated fats, a primary component in full-fat dairy products, due to its established link with heart disease. Critics argue that relying too heavily on full-fat dairy could elevate the risk of cardiovascular problems, a point that has stirred considerable debate among nutrition experts. The conversation over dairy isn't new. While dairy products have been a dietary cornerstone for countless American families for generations, perspectives have shifted over the years. Many nutrition experts now urge moderation, especially with high-fat options, because of the known effects of saturated fats on heart health. Dr. Thomas Unush, an emeritus professor of global health at USF, has clearly commented, "It's become a lot clearer that saturated fats play a really large role in developing cardiovascular disease." Yet, the debate has another twist. FDA Commissioner Marty Makary has backed Kennedy's call for new dietary guidelines driven by science rather than old medical dogma, adding fuel to the conversation. This alliance suggests that upcoming federal dietary guidelines might soon embrace these renewed dietary perspectives on dairy. And this is the part most people miss: the heated discussion is now branching into the realm of raw milk, a product that remains unpasteurized and is even banned for human consumption in several states, including Florida. Kennedy, known for his previous public demonstrations of enjoying raw milk alongside popular figures on social media, seems interested in exploring its purported benefits. However, many public health officials are quick to caution against raw milk consumption. Dr. Unush warned that raw milk can harbor dangerous bacteria, potentially posing severe risks for vulnerable populations such as pregnant women, children, and those with compromised immune systems. He noted that although pasteurization, a process used to kill harmful bacteria, might slightly reduce the vitamin C content in milk, the nutritional differences between pasteurized and raw milk are negligible. As federal agencies gear up to update the official dietary guidelines, Kennedy's outspoken views on dairy could significantly influence public health messages in the near future. Nonetheless, many health experts are urging consumers to exercise caution and not to rush into changing their dietary habits based solely on these emerging recommendations. What do you think? Is embracing more dairy and even raw milk the nutritional revolution we need, or is it a risky departure from established health guidelines? Share your thoughts, and let's discuss, are we onto something groundbreaking, or should tradition still hold sway in our kitchens? 3. RFK Jr. proposes expanding dairy in dietary guidelines, what science says. RFK Jr. sparks controversy with dairy expansion in dietary guidelines, what does science say? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, recently announced his intention to increase the recommended dairy intake in the upcoming federal dietary guidelines. This move has ignited a heated debate among nutrition experts and the general public. Kennedy nostalgically recalled a time when milk was considered the pinnacle of a healthy diet, citing emerging scientific evidence supporting the need for more protein and fats, nutrients that the dairy industry excels in providing. But here's where it gets controversial. While the current guidelines recommend 3 daily cup equivalents of dairy for those aged 9 and above, and between 1.6 to 2.5 cups for children aged 1 to 8, some experts argue that Americans should consider a variety of dairy products for optimal health benefits. Dairy is undeniably nutrient-rich, offering calcium, magnesium, potassium, protein, and vitamins A and D, which contribute to strong bones, teeth, and immune health. Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian of Tufts University's Food as Medicine Institute even suggests that dairy consumption may lower blood pressure, improve body composition, and reduce the risk of stroke. However, he acknowledges that these nutrients can also be obtained from other sources like leafy greens and fatty fish. So, what's the catch? Some Americans may choose to avoid dairy due to lactose intolerance, allergies, or cultural practices. NYU's Andrea Daerlane assures that foregoing dairy is not a concern, given the availability of lactose-free and soy-based alternatives. The real controversy lies in the saturated fat content of dairy products. While the American Heart Association warns against saturated fat's potential to increase bad cholesterol and heart disease risk, the 2025 scientific report suggests that saturated fat from dairy may be less harmful than that from meat. In a surprising twist, Mozaffarian reveals that the report found no evidence of health benefits in switching from whole-fat to low-fat dairy. He proposes that the upcoming guidelines should still recommend 3 daily servings, with an emphasis on fermented products like yogurt and cheese for their probiotic benefits and potential to lower diabetes risk. As the debate rages on, we want to hear from you. Do you think increasing dairy recommendations is a wise move, or should Americans explore alternative sources of nutrients? Share your thoughts in the comments below,